Hello, Croeso, welcome, and Shamai. This is back again Business Boy here, and today's topic is about project management methods known as project management methodologies. First, a quick update on the gardening project and wall painting project. The potatoes, radishes, tomato plants, and runner beans are growing well, to name a few, and we have seen more saplings grow indoors and be planted outdoors. As for the bathroom wall painting, that is done. As a result, I was asked to deal with another wall in another room, and that is done also. Now then, on to today's topic, project management methodologies. The first one we'll be talking about today is Waterfall, followed by a broad look at Agile. Then we'll be looking at systems and processes that go well with Agile, such as Lean, and after-action reviews, highlighting how these work well with an Agile approach. To keep things really simple, we're going to be talking about using the Waterfall first, using the painting the wall project as an example. Let's dive right into it. Using the Gantt chart we made for painting the bathroom wall, we can see the tasks. So we need to make purchases, remove wallpaper, remove residue, vacuum mop, mask floor, and paint. The idea of the waterfall methodology is that you do one task at a time in a sequence. In the critical path network, we could see that some tasks could be done alongside each other. But for the purpose of the waterfall methodology, we are not going to do that. So that means first we make purchases, then we remove the wallpaper, then we remove residue, then we vacuum and mop, then we mask the floor, and finally paint the wall. But knowing that we are now restricted to doing things in order, maybe we should change the tasks just in case. One reason to change how you approach a project is that you have done it before and have learnt a better way from experience. So instead, knowing we can't go back, maybe the first thing we do is research. Remove the wallpaper, research again in case what we need has changed since removing the wallpaper. Then go shopping, then mask the skirting board, then cover the floor, then remove any remaining wallpaper, then remove residue, then sand the wall, then paint it. So why are we being more careful now? Because the idea of the waterfall methodology is that once you've started, you cannot go back. Planning, research, and design are crucial to the waterfall methodology. It would be pretty terrible if I painted the wall, then removed the wallpaper, which means something else is crucial, and that is knowledge. What projects are most suitable for waterfall? Ones which are well planned and need things to be done step by step that should not face large changes that will not affect the project success. But just because it is step by step doesn't mean it is easy. Building a house is not easy, but it is the most common example given for describing the waterfall methodology because of how sequential it is. You lay the foundation before you lay the bricks. You build the walls before the roof, etc. How about Agile? Agile is a blanket term for project management methodologies that are more robust to change and less susceptible to setbacks because of changes. You don't have to start again because one thing went wrong. I'll talk about Agile in a general sense by talking about how it works instead of talking about subsets of Agile like Scrum. In Agile, there is no rule to the order in which you do tasks. This means you can have overlapping tasks, tasks which get repeated, and tasks which don't rely on the completion of other tasks. Some tasks do rely on other tasks being completed, but you can still make a start in some cases, regardless of dependencies. Let's use video game NPC dialogue sprite behavior development as an example. So let's say that on Monday, you create the forward-facing sprite after you've been told what the requirements are that you'll need to do throughout the week. Then on Tuesday, you have made more directions for this sprite to be facing because that's what the requirements are. You've also placed these sprites inside a parent object, which is these border boxes. On Wednesday, the code to determine the initial direction for each direction is completed. The lead calls in because they forgot to mention that this character is a principal character, and therefore should have emotive sprites too. A couple of emotions are made. On Thursday, the rest of the emotions are made. You find that you have some spare time now for the rest of your workday. On Friday, the interaction behavior for Baron Buttface is completed by someone else, and the dialogue behaviors are integrated together with the overworld version of Baron Buttface. Next week, another character will be made. Hang on a minute, this looked a bit like the waterfall method, but with the ability to iron out some creases. And whilst this is the case, it did look a little like that. The project is not finished, just one element of the project. Next week, another character will be made, and now we know we can improve the process by making sure the sprites for the dialogue profile box are made ready for when the interactive script is attached. On Thursday, there was plenty of time, leaving room to further iron out the wrinkles on Friday. Now then, if the project manager was following lean principles, they would see this Friday as not needed for the coding pixel artist and might try to make the next project a 4-day work week to save resources. Whilst lean principles are about saving resources, it's also about process improvement. So maybe now that the coding pixel artist has free Fridays, the project manager might instead delegate a different vital task to the coding pixel artist, such as creating still background graphics. And because this is agile, maybe the pixel artist will work on these background graphics whenever they have time. Of course, this can lead to its own set of issues such as burnout, which can be avoided based on what is prioritized. Issues can be avoided with after action reviews and transparent, clear communication between the project manager and the workers. But you might be wondering, back-end business boy, isn't this all just corporate nonsense? Can't the pixel artist programmer just create a to-do list and do it when the tasks come up? Let me explain why these methodologies matter. These methods aren't just about checking off tasks. They help teams work together smoothly, especially when different departments need to coordinate their efforts. They're basically lessons learned the hard way by countless project teams. Waterfall helps you plan thoroughly, upfront, while Agile lets you roll with the punches when things change. When everyone uses the same approach, it creates a shorthand for how you'll work together. Saying, "We're using Agile," tells the team what to expect without lengthy explanations. Picking the right approach makes a huge difference. The method that works brilliantly for building software might be a disaster for constructing a building, and vice versa. These aren't just fancy terms. They're practical tools that help projects succeed more often when used thoughtfully. Let's explore some visual comparisons to see the difference between these methodologies. First, take a look at these Gantt charts. On the left, we have a project following the waterfall methodology, with tasks neatly arranged in sequence. On the right is an agile project, where you can see how tasks overlap and run concurrently. Notice how much more parallel work happens in agile? Next, let's examine these critical path models. The waterfall version on the left shows a linear progression where each phase must complete before the next begins. Compare that to the agile model on the right, where multiple tasks progress simultaneously in a structured, iterative fashion. Finally, these graphs show what happens when change occurs mid-project. In the waterfall model, a single week's delay can cascade dramatically, causing exponential growth in completion time and costs. With Agile, the impact is typically contained within a sprint. A 1 week setback usually means just that, 1 week. The iterative nature of Agile creates natural boundaries that help prevent small delays from snowballing into major project disasters. So, here are some things to consider. when choosing a methodology. Firstly, the nature of the requirements, team coordination needs, project complexity, resource allocation efficiency, knowledge and experience levels, opportunity for process improvement, impact of potential changes, documentation requirements, client stakeholder involvement, risk management approach, project timeline constraints, and budget constraints. Thank you all so much for watching. If you found this video interesting, please like and subscribe. If you need software development services or business tech solutions, please get in touch with us at contact@backendbusinessboy.com.